Polar bear versus Tyrannosaurus Rex. The ultimate prehistoric showdown, when ice meets the dinosaur king. In the realm of the impossible and the extraordinary, few scenarios capture the imagination quite like the idea of a battle between two apex predators separated by millions of years. Picture, if you will, a world where time and space converge in a neutral arena, a surreal landscape where the frozen, wind-whipped expanse of the Arctic meets a prehistoric savanna reminiscent of a lost era. Here, in this fantastical setting, the modern polar bear, with its immense bulk and brutal efficiency, finds itself pitted against one of the most fearsome creatures to ever walk the earth, Tyrannosaurus Rex. The legendary king of the dinosaurs. This is a clash that defies the natural order, a contest of raw power, lethal weaponry, and primal survival instincts, where the ice-bound might of the polar bear is measured against the dinosaur's ferocious bite and towering presence. The polar bear, known by its scientific name Ursus maritimus, reigns as the largest land carnivore on Earth today. Adult males typically weigh between 900 to 1.500 pounds, with some extraordinary individuals tipping the scales at over 1.600 pounds. Their massive bodies are perfectly engineered for life in the brutal Arctic, where freezing temperatures and treacherous ice demand nothing short of perfection. Cloaked in a dense coat of white fur, which not only camouflages them in the endless snowscape but also traps heat. Polar bears are equipped with a thick layer of blubber that can exceed 4 inches in depth. This natural armor serves a dual purpose. It insulates against the bitter cold and provides protection against the fierce bites and slashing claws of their prey. Every aspect of the polar bear's anatomy speaks of raw power and survival. Its forelimbs, which account for a substantial portion of its mass, end in enormous paws armed with 3-inch claws that are as sharp as they are deadly. These claws are designed to grip the slippery surfaces of ice floes and to tear into the flesh of seals, their primary prey, with a force that can shatter bones. The bear's bite, an awe-inspiring 1.200 pounds per square inch (psi), is capable of crushing the skull of a seal or splintering the heavy bones of a walrus. Moreover, polar bears are not just formidable on land, they are surprisingly agile swimmers, able to cover distances of over 60 miles without rest, using their powerful forepaws as natural paddles to navigate the icy waters. Their hunting strategy is predominantly one of ambush, where they lie in wait near breathing holes in the ice, striking with explosive power that leaves little time for escape. In contrast to the modern might of the polar bear, Tyrannosaurus Rex, the iconic dinosaur that ruled over late Cretaceous North America, represents an entirely different era of evolutionary design, often simply referred to as T-Rex. This colossal predator was a true behemoth of its time. Estimates suggest that T-Rex stood between 4 to 5 meters, 13 to 16 feet tall at the hips, stretched 12 to 13 meters, 40 to 43 feet, in length from head to tail, and weighed anywhere from 6 to 9 tons, with some studies even suggesting higher figures. Its massive skull, packed with rows of serrated, knife-like teeth, was built for a single, decisive purpose: to deliver a cataclysmic bite that could crush bone and shatter even the toughest hides. In fact, T-Rex is often credited with having one of the most powerful bites in the animal kingdom, a force that, in a single chomp, could incapacitate prey and end a struggle in moments. The physical prowess of T-Rex was matched by its predatory strategies. Unlike many of its dinosaur contemporaries, which may have relied on pack tactics or ambushes from cover, T-Rex was an unstoppable force that dominated open terrain. Its powerful hind limbs allowed it to reach impressive speeds over short distances. And its massive forelimbs, though relatively short compared to its body, were capable of delivering crushing blows. T-Rex's hunting style was a combination of brute force and precision. Its long, dagger-like teeth were perfectly suited for slicing through flesh and bone, while its massive jaw muscles enabled it to apply an almost unimaginable pressure with each bite. Now, envision a neutral battleground where these two evolutionary titans meet, a surreal landscape that merges the harsh, icy plains of the Arctic with elements of a primordial, open savanna. In this imagined world, the boundaries of time blur. Perhaps a vast, frozen delta exists where remnants of ancient tropical swamps have been overrun by glaciers, creating an environment that is both familiar and alien to each combatant. Here, the polar bear, with its thick white fur and powerful build, treads cautiously over a surface of cracked ice and soft, thawing earth. Its every movement is deliberate, honed by years of survival in an environment where only the strongest endure. Meanwhile, from a distance, a silhouette emerges, a massive form that seems to belong to a world long past. T-Rex, with its towering frame and menacing jaws, strides forward, its eyes fixed intently on the bear. The contrast between these creatures is staggering. One is a master of the frozen wastes, evolved to hunt silently and with deadly precision among the ice. The other is a relic of a bygone era, a living weapon built for open confrontations and crushing power. As the two predators close the distance, the atmosphere becomes charged with the raw intensity of a battle destined to be etched into the annals of time. The polar bear, aware of the potential threat posed by this massive intruder, assumes a defensive stance. Its eyes narrow, nostrils flare, and every muscle in its enormous body tenses for the imminent confrontation. The bear's mind, honed by countless hunts on the ice, is filled with the instincts of survival, its senses alert to every sound, every ripple in the air. Yet, despite its prowess, the polar bear is keenly aware that this is a fight unlike any it has faced before. T-Rex, with its sheer size and devastating bite, represents a challenge on a completely different scale. On the opposite side, T-Rex lumbers forward with an air of predatory authority. Each thunderous step sends ripples through the frozen ground, a reminder of its overwhelming presence. The massive skull of the dinosaur looms, its serrated teeth glistening in the faint light. There is an undeniable aura of ancient power about T-Rex, a force that once ruled over vast territories with impunity. Its predatory instincts, refined over millions of years, tell it that this intruder on its domain is not merely prey, but a rival worthy of its attention. The first moments of the encounter are marked by a tense standoff, a silent exchange of calculated glances between two creatures for whom survival is a constant battle. The polar bear roars, a deep, guttural sound that echoes across the barren landscape, while T-Rex responds with a low, rumbling growl, its massive head swaying as it surveys the opponent. The environment around them seems to hold its breath, the wind dies down, and the only sound is the rhythmic crunch of snow under massive paws and the distant creaking of ancient ice. In a burst of motion that shatters the silence, the polar bear launches itself forward. Its powerful limbs propel it with surprising speed across the uneven surface, aiming to strike at what it perceives as a vulnerable target. The polar bear's strategy is instinctive, if it can catch T-Rex off guard. Perhaps by targeting a limb or the underbelly, it might deliver a decisive blow. But T-Rex is not a creature to be underestimated. With a sudden, calculated lunge, the dinosaur rears its massive head and snaps its jaws shut in a display of raw power that seems almost otherworldly. The collision is titanic, a clash of muscle against muscle, bone against bone. The polar bear's claws, sharp and lethal, rake at the thick hide of T-Rex, leaving deep gashes that ooze blood. For every swipe of the bear's paw, T-Rex responds with a devastating bite, its serrated teeth sinking into the bear's flank, sending shockwaves of pain through the smaller predator's body. The force of the impact is staggering, and for a moment, it seems as though time itself has slowed, each second stretching into an eternity of violence and raw, unfiltered aggression. The battle quickly becomes a contest of endurance and strategy. The polar bear, drawing on every ounce of its strength and experience from countless hunts on the ice, continues its relentless assault. Its powerful jaws snap with ferocious intensity, trying to find a gap in the dinosaur's armor. Yet, T-Rex's thick, scaly hide and massive musculature absorb the blows with little apparent effect. Every time the bear lunges, T-Rex counters with a savage bite that threatens to shatter the bear's fragile frame. As the fight rages on, the battlefield becomes a maelstrom of chaos, snow and blood mixed together in dark, swirling clouds. The ground trembles under the force of giant strides, and the air is filled with roars, growls, and the crunch of breaking bones. The polar bear's eyes burn with a primal intensity as it channels its survival instincts. each movement calculated for maximum impact. Meanwhile, T-Rex, though slower and less agile, utilizes its overwhelming size and raw power. Its every bite a potential death blow capable of ending the struggle in a single, decisive moment. Throughout the encounter, one cannot help but marvel at the sheer incongruity of it all. On one side, the polar bear, a creature perfectly adapted to the icy realm of the modern Arctic, is battling not just for a meal, but for its very existence. Its every muscle, every claw, every ferocious bite is a testament to the brutal efficiency of evolution in one of the harshest environments on Earth. On the other side, T-Rex, a relic from a world long past, embodies the ferocity and grandeur of the dinosaur era, a time when nature's rules were written in titanic struggles and every predator was a behemoth capable of inspiring both awe and terror. The polar bear's strategy seems clear. Isolate a vulnerable part of T-Rex's massive frame, perhaps a leg or the underbelly, and deliver a series of brutal blows. It might aim to cripple the dinosaur's mobility, or even to deliver a fatal bite that would bring the giant down in a single, well-placed strike. But T-Rex's counter-strategy is equally formidable. With each step, the dinosaur uses its immense weight to its advantage, grounding the bear's attempts to gain leverage. When T-Rex opens its jaws, there is a moment of pure, primal horror. Serrated teeth glisten in the dim light, and the force of its bite, a legacy of millions of years of evolution, is unleashed in a cataclysmic display of power. Midway through the battle, as the sun hangs low on the horizon and casts long, ominous shadows across the blood-stained snow, both combatants show signs of exhaustion and injury. The polar bear, its once pristine white fur now mottled with red, staggers under the relentless barrage of T-Rex's savage bites. Its massive paws, which had once pounded the ground with unstoppable force, now falter under the weight of blood and fatigue. T-Rex, too, is scarred by the encounter. Its scales bear deep gouges and wounds from the bear's ferocious swipes. Yet it continues its assault with an almost mechanical determination. Each movement is a study in raw power and the unyielding drive to survive. In a desperate bid to turn the tide, the polar bear summons its remaining strength, with a roar that seems to shake the very foundations of the frozen valley. The bear lunges again, this time with an intensity born of desperation. Its eyes, filled with a mixture of pain and fierce determination, lock onto a gap in T-Rex's armor, a vulnerable spot along the underbelly where the thick hide is slightly thinner. In one explosive moment, the bear's massive jaws clamp down, and for an instant, it appears as if the prehistoric predator might be brought to its knees. But T-Rex, sensing the lethal danger, twists its enormous head with a violent jerk, and the bear's grip slips away, leaving only a trail of blood in its wake. The battle reaches its climax in a moment of surreal, apocalyptic intensity. The polar bear, battered and bleeding, rears up on its hind legs, its roar echoing like thunder over the frozen wasteland. In a final, desperate surge, it charges with every ounce of strength it has left. Claws extended in a wide, desperate arc, T-Rex, its eyes dark and unyielding, braces for the onslaught, jaws open wide as if to deliver the final, crushing blow. The collision is cataclysmic, a convergence of ancient fury and modern savagery that sends shockwaves through the icy arena. Bones crack, scales splinter, and for a moment, the world seems to pause in a tableau of raw, unfiltered violence. When the chaos finally subsides, the battlefield is left shrouded in an eerie silence. The snow is stained deep red, and the air is heavy with the metallic scent of blood. Amid the carnage, one predator stands, its massive form silhouetted against the dim light of a setting sun, a testament to the brutal realities of nature. Whether it is the polar bear, battered yet unbowed, or T-Rex, scarred but relentless, the outcome of this fabled confrontation remains etched in the annals of what could have been, a timeless struggle between two titans whose very existence defies the boundaries of time and evolution. This imagined encounter between the polar bear and T-Rex is a thought experiment, a blend of science and speculative fiction designed to explore the limits of animal power and survival. In reality, the two species never coexisted. The polar bear thrives in the icy realms of the modern Arctic, while T-Rex ruled the lush, dangerous plains of the Late Cretaceous. Yet the allure of a face-off between these apex predators, one modern and one extinct, is irresistible to those who dream of a world where the past and present collide. Fans of Jurassic Park, Ice Age documentaries, and prehistoric fantasy will find this scenario both captivating and nerve-wracking, a true battle of titans that challenges our very understanding of nature's design. In this epic showdown, every detail matters, from the polar bear's stealthy approach on slick, icy terrain to T-Rex's thunderous strides across ancient plains. The polar bear's thick fur and insulating blubber, evolved over millennia to survive the coldest conditions on Earth, contrast sharply with T-Rex's rugged, scaly hide, a relic of a warmer, more volatile time. The bear's reliance on ambush and precision, honed by its need to catch elusive seals, is pitted against T-Rex's raw, unbridled aggression and crushing bite force. As each predator unleashes its arsenal of natural weapons, claws that can slice through muscle and teeth that can shatter bone, the true spectacle is not just a battle for survival, but a dramatic reenactment of nature's most extreme adaptations. Throughout the confrontation, the environment itself plays a pivotal role. The icy landscape, with its shifting glaciers and treacherous ice flows, provides both refuge and peril for the polar bear. It is an arena where every misstep can be fatal, and where the slightest breach in the ice can mean a plunge into freezing water. T-Rex, though a creature of a bygone era, would find its usual territory transformed in this hybrid battleground, a place where ancient swamps meet glacial ice, and where every roar and swipe is amplified by the harsh, unforgiving elements. As the battle unfolds, the polar bear's strategy becomes clear: isolate a vulnerable target. Given the overwhelming size of T-Rex, a polar bear would never dare attack a fully grown, healthy specimen head-on. Instead, its calculated approach would likely focus on a weak or isolated individual, a juvenile or an injured adult, hoping to turn a desperate hunt into a meal that could sustain it through the long, harsh winter. In this scenario, the polar bear's eyes are fixed on a younger T-Rex, separated momentarily from a larger, protective group. The bear's muscles coil with anticipation, every nerve attuned to the scent of warm blood and the sound of labored breathing. T-Rex, for its part, would not be a passive participant. Known for its intelligence and predatory cunning, the dinosaur would be acutely aware of the threat posed by the polar bear. Its massive head, lined with serrated teeth, would snap at the bear with lightning speed, and its powerful forelimbs, though small relative to its bulk, could be used to deliver crushing blows. Every movement of T-Rex is a study in raw, prehistoric power, a culmination of millions of years of evolution designed to crush any challenger that dares approach. As the two predators close in on each other, the neutral battleground becomes a stage for a clash that transcends time. The polar bear, its breath visible in the frigid air, moves with a blend of stealth and explosive force, every step calculated and every swipe of its claws filled with lethal intent. T-Rex, in contrast, charges with the raw power of a creature built for open confrontations, a living juggernaut whose every stride shakes the ground and whose roar sends shivers through the air. The initial collision is cataclysmic. The polar bear leaps forward, massive paws extended in a savage arc, while T-Rex rears its head back, opening its jaws in a display of teeth that seem to glow with ancient ferocity. For a heartbeat, the world seems to freeze as claw meets fang. Muscle collides with scale, and the air is filled with the sound of breaking bones and the rush of displaced air. The bear's claws tear through the soft flesh around T-Rex's neck, while the dinosaur's teeth, honed to perfection, bite deep into the bear's flank. Blood flows like dark rivers, mingling with melting ice, creating a macabre tapestry that speaks to the raw brutality of nature. The battle is a whirlwind of motion, a relentless, savage exchange of blows that leaves no room for mercy. With every strike, the polar bear draws on its immense reserves of strength and endurance. Each swipe of its paw and each bite of its powerful jaws designed to weaken and ultimately overpower its prehistoric adversary. T-Rex, fueled by an instinct honed in the crucible of the Cretaceous, retaliates with a ferocity that defies its own massive bulk. It turns its head in a brutal, sweeping motion, aiming to crush the polar bear with a bite that could end the fight in an instant. The clash is not merely physical, It is an epic contest of evolution, of nature's endless capacity to adapt and overcome. Whether in the icy silence of the Arctic or the blistering heat of a long-vanished world. As the struggle intensifies, both predators show the marks of battle. The polar bear's once pristine white fur is now marred by deep gashes and streaks of blood, while its powerful frame trembles with the effort of each ferocious swipe. T-Rex, with its massive skull dented and its serrated teeth chipped from repeated impacts, roars in defiance, a sound that reverberates through the frozen valley and echoes off distant ice cliffs. Yet, despite the savage intensity of the conflict, the polar bear's strategy becomes ever clearer: hit hard, hit fast, and do not allow the enemy time to recover. In one heart-stopping moment, the polar bear finds an opening. Its claws sink deep into the soft underbelly of the younger T-Rex that had been separated from its larger kin. With a mighty roar, the bear tears into the vulnerable flesh, and the wounded dinosaur staggers, blood spurting into the frigid air. The bear, sensing that victory may be within reach, presses its advantage, delivering blow after blow with a combination of brute force and unyielding determination. However, T-Rex is not easily subdued. In a final, desperate surge, the massive predator summons every last vestige of its ancient power, counter-attacking with a titanic bite that nearly crushes the bear's shoulder. A moment of raw power that sends shockwaves through the battlefield. As the battle nears its climax, the neutral arena becomes a chaotic maelstrom, a blend of ice, blood, and the primal sounds of two titanic forces colliding. The air is heavy with the scent of iron and frost, and every heartbeat is a struggle against time and the inevitable. The polar bear, battered but unbowed, stands as a symbol of modern evolutionary might, a creature forged in the relentless cold of the Arctic, honed by the ceaseless struggle for survival. T-Rex, meanwhile, represents the untamed ferocity of a bygone era, a living relic of a world where predators ruled without mercy, where every clash was a testament to the ruthless laws of nature. In the end, as the last echoes of battle fade into the whisper of the wind and the ice slowly reclaims the scarred battlefield, the ultimate victor remains uncertain, a question left to the imagination of those who dare to dream of such epic confrontations. Perhaps the polar bear, with its overwhelming size, endurance, and the ability to strike with a single, decisive blow, would prevail against a wounded but still formidable T-Rex. Or maybe the ancient ferocity and bone-crushing bite of the dinosaur would prove too much, reducing the Ice King to a mere memory on a field of red-stained snow. This hypothetical battle is more than just a clash of predators. It is a journey into the very heart of nature's evolutionary drama, where the rules of survival are written in blood, ice, and the relentless drive to overcome. It is a story of contrasts. The modern majesty of the polar bear against the prehistoric might of T-Rex. The silent, icy world of the Arctic meeting the brutal, raw energy of a time when dinosaurs roamed the earth. It is a reminder that in the wild, there are no guarantees, only the eternal struggle between life and death, where every battle is a testament to the power of adaptation and the unyielding will to survive. For fans of epic creature battles and prehistoric fantasies, those who revel in the tales of Jurassic Park, Ice Age legends, and the timeless drama of nature, this imagined confrontation offers a tantalizing glimpse into a world where time itself blurs, and the greatest warriors of different eras face off in a contest that transcends history. It is a story that captivates the mind and stirs the heart, inviting us to wonder what might have been if the laws of nature had allowed such an encounter. In the end, the polar bear versus T-Rex battle is not simply about which creature is stronger or more deadly. It is a celebration of the incredible diversity and adaptability of life on Earth, a reminder that evolution has produced some of the most awe-inspiring and formidable animals imaginable. Whether you are a devoted fan of modern wildlife or a passionate enthusiast of prehistoric legends, this epic showdown offers a narrative as grand and thrilling as the frozen landscapes and ancient jungles from which these creatures hail. As the sun sets on the imaginary battlefield, casting long shadows over ice and blood, we are left with a timeless question. In a battle where every muscle, every claw, every bite is a testament to the relentless forces of evolution, who would emerge as the ultimate predator? The polar bear, a modern marvel of the Arctic, or T-Rex, the terrifying ruler of a lost world? This question may never be answered definitively. But it will continue to inspire debate and wonder among those who dream of battles beyond time, a savage reminder that in nature, the struggle for survival is eternal. And legends are born in the crucible of conflict.